Is this cosmic monster going to be the new game-changing meta monster? Watch to find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanoss2099 and today we are going to be reviewing the first cosmic monster. Now for those of you who do not know what a cosmic monster is a new subcategory of the mythic monsters. Think of it like the Forsakens or the elite categories from the legends, and that is what the cosmics are in the mythic category. Now these are going to be overpowered monsters that are going to be basically released into the game. It will be very hard to rank them up, obtain them, as well as you might even have to pay real money to obtain these monsters. Now the first monster of that elite class cosmic is Vanoss2099, and we have the leaked skill set of this monster. Now this may be subject to changes considering that this is a very new feature in the game, and it is not 100% that this monster is in fact the first cosmic monster, but this is just the leaks that I'm getting to you right now. This may be very well be true, as it has been countless times, but again there is a margin of error in this. Now as for the trait of this monster and as for the statistics of this monster, we do not have them out as of yet, but right now we're just going on what we know, and whatever information that I give you right now is just going to be relevant to this time. If there are changes to this monster, like in the skills or in the trait or anything else, so there might be a change of opinion, but I will make an updated video if that is the case, or I may just inform you down in a pinned comment. Now before I start reviewing this monster, I would urge you to click the subscribe button, the like button, and turn on those notifications so that you stay updated on what's relevant and what's coming to the game. Now the first move that we have of this monster is Bolt Strike, that deals moderate metal damage to one enemy. Again, the first two skills that, like I have mentioned in countless of my videos, is that the first two skills are generally the default skills and they're nothing too special, so I'm just going to go over them very quickly. The second skill we have is Hubada Whirl, that deals low metal damage to all enemies. Quickly moving on to the third skill, we have Crash Intruder, that deals moderate metal damage to all enemies, removes positive status effects from itself, requires cooldown. Now this is the move that kind of confuses me, because generally monsters do not remove their own positive status effects. Now this monster plays with Pierce, so that may be a double-edged sword move, so you may have to consider that. Now a lot of players do not use Tiny, but if you are going up against a Tiny gives you Megaton, so that may be very useful in getting rid of that Megaton if you do not want to make this monster die first. Then we have the move Howdy Do Daze, that deals heavy metal damage to one enemy and applies daze to one enemy, requires cooldown. Now whenever daze is involved, I really like the move because it reduces the accuracy of the enemy monsters by 25%, and couple them up with traits like Hardened and Tough and Bulwark, that makes the landing of the DOTs, either the deny skills or even landing the attack very low. So I kind of like this move. Then we have on top of that heavy metal damage, so this will deal quite a significant amount of damage as well, which I really like. Then we have the moves Falling Like Flies, that deals moderate metal damage to all enemies, applies daze to all enemies. An even better improved version of the above move that was Howdy Do Daze, and this deals AoE daze, which I find fantastic to have in this era and age and time, where a lot of effects are really common. And yeah, it also deals moderate metal damage on top of this, so we can kind of guess that this monster is an attacker. Then the next move we have is System Box Drive, that removes all negative status effects from itself, applies a damage boost to itself, requires cooldown. Now the move Crash Intruder is kind of counterproductive to this move, as it removes positive status effects from yourself, and hence I would not recommend Crash Intruder at this stage as well. Now what I would like to have seen in System Box Drive, which is the move that we are discussing right now, that removes all negative status effects and applies damage boost to itself, that I wanted this to have a positive effect protection so that it could counter the above move Crash Intruder, or have something like Skill Mirror, or grant the monster an extra turn so that you have an extra oomph while you're attacking. And yeah, or either it could have evasion so that you have the damage boost saved up and you can use it later, rather than making the monster vulnerable and then having to attack next turn and wasting the current turn you have. Then the next move we have is Volteca Claw that deals heavy fire damage to one enemy, applies burn to one enemy, requires cooldown. Now I wasn't expecting this monster to have fire moves considering that this monster is basically metal based, but this is surely a surprise. That also applies a dot that is burning, so that is good as well. It also deals very heavy fire damage, so you can expect a lot of damage considering that this monster is a cosmic, and it also will have more buffed stats than all of the mythics that we have, most probably, but that is not sure. I'm just assuming since this monster is from the cosmic category, it may have those advantages. Then we have Feeling Safer Now, which is kind of what makes this monster so intriguing to me and what can potentially make this the meta monster to have right now, which is applies Pierce to itself and applies Evasion to itself. Now this monster may have positive effect protection in his trait that will phenomenally increase his usability and also really make using the move Feeling Safer Now more worthwhile. Now a lot of monsters, especially in the legendary category, have the ability to remove positive status effects, and some of the monsters from the mythic category do as well. For example, Tiny, like I mentioned, also has positive effect removal, so this move is basically vulnerable to positive effect protection. Now we are not clear as to how long the Pierce will last, whether it is 2 turns, 3 turns, and that could also affect the usability of this monster. I for one am thinking that this monster will have a phenomenal trait because he is again from the cosmic category. The monsters from the elite classes generally tend to be more powerful than their non-elite counterparts, which I find really interesting, and I do think that this monster has meta potential if his trait is good and if his statistics are good as well. Then we have the special that is That's a Shock, that deals heavy metal damage to all enemies, applies shock to all enemies. Now again, I would like to have this special a bit more oomphed up, but again, heavy metal damage and also applying shock really takes a lot out of the enemy monsters, considering that this monster will be having a good amount of strength runes as well. So yeah, that is it for all of the moves. Now for the runes that I would recommend on this monster, like I said, obviously this monster is an attacker, and attackers always deserve at least 2 strength runes, or at least in the very bare minimum a single strength rune with 2 team speeds, or 1 team speed, or 2 speeds depending on the situation you're facing. If you want this monster to be faster, give him speed, and if you want him to be boosting your team, give him team speed. Now the moves that I would recommend are personally is Feeling Safer Now, that applies Pierce and Invasion. That is the main star skill of this monster. Then I would also recommend Volteca Claw, that applies a dot and also deals heavy fire damage. Then I would recommend System Box Drive, that removes all negative status effects and also applies damage protection. Then I would recommend Falling Like Flies. Now the reason that I did not recommend Howdy Do Days was because this monster already has a move that already applies AoE days, so you do not need the single days. I'd rather you have an increased amount of damage with a dot so that you have more power to yourself rather than having a lower amount of damage and days, even though you already have days on the enemy monsters. So yeah, but you could kind of shift it, or you could also run Crash Intruder if you're facing a Tiny or someone of that sort, but I would not recommend it at all. As for this monster being from the cosmic category, now the cosmic category, like I said, is an elite class of monsters, and this is the first monster, so you can expect the other monsters to be much more powerful monsters than this monster. And like we have seen that the first monsters of the categories are generally at a lower level than what the other counterparts and later monsters that are released. They are generally more powerful, so this is just a starter. We'll be watching closely on what the cosmic monsters are, and if you want to stay updated on the cosmic monsters, there is a cosmic book that is going to be released soon, and more information is going to be out about the cosmic monsters and the new events that are going to be coming to the game tomorrow, and you can count on me to bring it to you as soon as I can. So make sure to click on that subscribe button, click on that notification bell so that you get notified as soon as I post, and do not forget to like this video and share it with your friends so that they also get the benefit of knowing what kind of monster is the first cosmic monster of the game. And with that being said, that is the end of this wonderful video. I hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Peace out.